everyone, and welcome yourselves back to the YouTube channel and back for night two of WrestleMania 39. Another brilliant show in my opinion. I think a few curveballs to say the least. And definitely I'd say I don't know if it's better than the first night, but I think there was definitely moments that captured storylines better, and that there's a lot to deal with on on the next Monday in SmackDown, Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. So very excited for that. Of course, hit the subscribe button, leave a like if you enjoyed the video and you're new to the channel, and obviously comment down below your thoughts on this year's WrestleMania. Go check out night one reaction and review I put out earlier, and of course, enjoy the video. So 6 matches, technically 7 with the Snoop Dogg slash Shane McMahon Miz match that was added into the night before the Hell in a Cell match. And overall, I think the first matches of each night mirrored each other. You know, they should have been a lot better, but altogether they were just fillers for the night, I think, with Theory and Cena yesterday and Bob Lashley, Brock Lesnar, sorry, v Omos. So Omos v Brock Lesnar. Omos was brilliant coming into the match. You know, he was throwing Brock Lesnar around like a rag doll, and ultimately Brock Lesnar did one F5, a couple of whatever they're called, suplexes, and he ended up winning. You know, I think it was going to be an obvious thing. Brock Lesnar was always going to win that match, I think, and ultimately I give that match a 3 out of 5. I didn't expect anything different from Brock Lesnar and Omos. Omos, I don't really care about. Brock Lesnar is just there to get a paycheck. And obviously, it was sort of a last-minute match after the whole Bray Wyatt thing collapsed. The women's Fatal 4-way match with the 4 tag teams was pretty decent, in my opinion. A lot of talent. But altogether, it was ruined by an ending that Ronda Rousey ended up getting the win after she didn't take part in any of the match. Shayna Baszler was good, Liv Morgan was good, Raquel was the highlight of the match in my opinion. You know, Shotzi was decent, Natalia did bits, the double sharpshooter. There was a lot to enjoy about the match. I think it's definitely a 4 out of 5, but ultimately the ending just ruined it because Ronda just came in, did the submission and won. It was just like, so we just watched an entire match, all these women who actually work hard in the company, putting their bodies on the line, doing X, Y, and Z, jumping over the ropes and stuff. Then she just comes in and does one thing, and I can't remember who it was, but tapped out. Just make it make sense. Raquel and Liv Morgan should have got the win, in my opinion. The Bob Lashley came out with the trophy and literally just held it to the crowd, and that was it. So no Bob Lashley match this year. But altogether, to be honest, I don't know who he would have faced other than Bray Wyatt, and that, to be honest, that didn't really fit. And obviously, LA Knight is on SmackDown, I think, so I obviously don't think they would have been able to cross halves. And obviously, one of the highlights of the night, the IC title match, another controversial ending, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, these 3 wrestlers are 3 of the best in the company for what they bring, personality-wise, talent-wise, and quality of match. Sheamus and Drew were the highlights of this match. You know, it started off with all 3 of them, but then it came down to Drew and Sheamus carrying this match on their backs. Gunther came in and stole the win, and I'm just thinking, why though? Give the belt to Sheamus, let Gunther go and do someone else. But obviously, it makes sense now after you've watched the main event when certain things are going to keep happening for a certain amount of time, and Gunther will stay in the IC title race. The same, and I don't really know what Sheamus and Drew are going to do. WWE's in a bit of a weird position now because of different storylines overlapping and certain people not losing belts and certain people losing belts. So it's kind of like, is Sheamus going to go for the belt next? I think if you're ever going to make Gunther drop it, it should have been last night. So Gunther could have looked good while Sheamus pins Drew McIntyre. I think that's the only outcome that I think would have worked best. But ultimately, it is what it ends at the end of the day. It was a 5 out of 5 match. And yeah, I gave a 4 out of 5, by the way, to the Fatal 4-way women's match. If you did not notice how much I enjoyed the match, and obviously 5 out of 5 for the Gunther match, which obviously he retained, one of the first retains of the night. Then we went to Bianca v Oscar, which again was a 5 out of 5 match. I think it was fantastic. A lot of talent in that ring. But again, it was one of those endings. But I love Bianca, I prefer her, but I think Oscar should have been the one to get the victor. But obviously Bianca's the one who came out victorious in the end. You know, credit to both of them. They put the performance and a half on. It was fantastic to watch, and it was on par with Charlotte's and Rhea Ripley's match. for different reasons. The only difference is this one was amazing from the get-go, whereas Charlotte and Rhea Ripley's took a bit longer to get going. But ultimately, the women have been fantastic this year. Credit to them for the 3 matches they put on. They deserve probably a couple more next year, depending on what storylines they've got going on. Shane McMahon did return. Fantastic to see him return for a good couple of minutes before he injured himself. And then Snoop Dogg ended up beating The Miz in a match, which was really cool, comical. And like Pat McAfee last night, it's just one of those things. It's too entertained. But I've got to admit, The Miz never needed to be the host of WrestleMania. It was pointless, not needed, and he was barely utilized, bar the first bit and his match. So comedy, yes, needed, not really. But again, it just broke it up a bit. So definitely excited to see what Shane could be doing back in the company, unless it was just a one-time thing. And then we move on to the last 2 matches: Finn Balor versus Edge, which is one of those matches where I really thought Finn Balor was going to win. I wanted Edge to win. I predicted Edge to win, and he did. It was fantastic. There was tables and there was ladders. There was canes. There was chairs. There was blood. I thought it was fantastic. I always wished they'd go outside the Hell in a Cell. There was no interference from Damian Priest or Dominic. I thought that was genuinely going to happen. There was medical attention. And I love how it came full circle with the whole chair thing and him being able to finish the match that way. I thought it was executed fantastic, just like the Bloodline. They're doing wonders with this storyline. Judgment Day Bloodline, they're doing fantastic things. And I'm excited to see where it goes. And of course, I think this was definitely another 5 out of 5. Arguably just as good as the IC title match, but for different reasons. Because Edge, at his age, still doing the things he's doing, to put on a performance as good as this. Finn Balor, who's absolutely phenomenal in the ring, to be very different as the Demon. And I fully agree with Edge winning. A lot of people didn't agree with it, but ultimately I think Edge deserved it because it's going to be probably his last ever WrestleMania. So full credit to the guy. Hall of Fame induction recap was on with Rey Mysterio and a huge ovation. What a wrestler! With obviously the other 4 in Stacy Gilbert, 2 others, and the Warrior, a Hall of Fame induction. I mean, 2 of them weren't even there because I think 2 of them were actually dead. And then there's the Latino guy. So amazing to see that. But obviously one of the worst lineups in years. So grateful that Rey Mysterio was in it because obviously I think Batista was going to be in it, but he will be next year, I think. So fingers crossed for that. And the last match of the night, the one we'd all been waiting for months and months in the making. Roman Reigns v Cody Rhodes since the Royal Rumble, all the traumas of Chamber and Raws and SmackDowns, and it ends in the most predictable way. A fantastic match filled with finisher after finisher after finisher, breaking free from submissions that have never been broken out of. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, 2 of them themselves, without all the interferences that happened, were fantastic. Solo's introduction was brilliant, and the match was smartly, perfectly put together. He was sentenced away from the ringside. You thought that was going to be no interference. Referee gets knocked out. Usos come in. Owens, Sammy, awesome. You think that's over. Boom. Solo rocks up again. Cody's just overdoing it. And ultimately, he ends up losing by the Samoan spike. I think, it's one of those things. I genuinely can't see this guy getting pinned. He is one of the greatest villains you'll ever see in WWE history. I believe Cody will one day hold the belt, but I don't think he'll be the one to beat Reigns. I think it'll be Jay. I, it's one of those things. We've seen this ending a million times. It is annoying, but I think Reigns is a true professional for what he does, and it's hard to envision anyone else without the belts, so I can't really complain. Cody gave it his all in the ring, and I love what he did at the start with the whole Brody Lee Jr. thing, giving him one of his belts, his kid at ringside. I just think the storyline is perfect. I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen with the Usos and Reigns and Solo going into this week's Raw and SmackDown. Obviously, because there was possibilities of Jay and Roman facing at SummerSlam. Rumors, obviously, how is this feud going to go on if they're still helping him? Very intriguing. It's going to be very exciting going up to Backlash, and I'm pretty sure these 2 will probably face off against each other again, but maybe it'll be for one belt, and maybe he could dethrone him. But again, it's hard to predict. Again, there's going to be returns and stuff coming up in this next week as well, as always is. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely going to give this match a 5 out of 5. I think this was on par with the Usos and Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match from yesterday. Uh, Four best matches: the Hell in a Cell match, this match, the IC title match, and the tag team match from yesterday. The two women's title matches were fantastic. Um, I think both Fatal 4-Way tag matches were done brilliantly. Rey Mysterio's match was fantastic. Um, Theory's match was a letdown. Brock Lesnar's match was a letdown. Um, Comedy Gold, obviously, from the Miz's matches. And yeah, I think I probably forgot a match, but I just think what they did with these two nights was fantastic. Brilliant storytelling. We got two new titles, retains, and I just think they need to be building a few more storylines up for the women going forward. Who could be the one to dethrone Bianca? Who's going to be the next challenger for Rhea? And obviously, who will be facing Reigns, Sammy, and Owens? And of course, who's next in line for Gunther and Theory? It's going to be very exciting to see this upcoming week of WWE. An incredible pay-per-view show with incredible moments, incredible comedy, especially from likes of Titus O'Neil, Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, Shane McMahon. I think it was absolutely fantastic, especially some of the live orchestra stuff as well. The crowd was brilliant. The reaction from Cody from the crowd, some of the reactions this year were phenomenal. And I just think everybody did I mean, there was no awful match. I'll definitely say that. But I just think a couple of matches could have been a little bit better, a little bit longer, and a little bit handled a bit better. But I think ultimately WrestleMania 39, night one and night two, get a solid 8 out of 10 from me. I think it was definitely a strong one. I can never sit here and say it's the best one because I can never remember every single WrestleMania. You're always going to say it's the best one in the moment. These are going to be the best matches. But ultimately, there were some amazing moments. I can't wait to watch Backlash and get to next year's WrestleMania 40. So stick around for the WWE videos coming every week going forward. Hope you enjoy the videos. Let me know down below in the comments your thoughts on WrestleMania 39 Goes Hollywood. And are you looking forward to Backlash and this week of WWE Raw and SmackDown? I'll be back for more. Goodbye.